In this video, I'm going to go over my live stage setup for the Yamaha YC keyboard. It's the thing I get asked about probably more than anything else at live gigs and here on the channel. How I get my front of house send in stereo, how I get my on-stage monitoring in stereo, and how I get my vocal send all in the smallest rack possible. Hey guys, Steve from Featherlight Studio, and in this video I want to go over the thing I get asked about probably more than anything at live gigs and on the channel here as well, is my live stage setup for the Yamaha YC. I've made stuff incredibly small this year because we got to go from big stages to small stages and back again, and I want to be able to do that quickly and efficiently and not have to chase around a ton of parts. You know, those of you that are fans of the channel, you know I love the YC. This is really kind of a once in a decade keyboard that comes along where you really just absolutely fall in love with it. And much like guitar players that have had that, luxury for years, they find the perfect guitar and the perfect amp and pedal setup and they have that tone they just love and fall in love with it. That's really the same thing with the YC, but the single biggest complaint I hear about the YC is they don't like, the samples of the, piano or the EPs and stuff on board. And then I find out more times than anything else that they're playing through a system in mono. They're playing through a mono keyboard amp, or they're playing through an onstage wedge. And that is the fastest way to kill the sound of this board by far. So I want to go over how I actually get my front of house signal in stereo to the sound guys, and my onstage monitoring in stereo, and my microphone all in that same system in the smallest possible rack space that you can get. It all starts with a great stand, and this is a double braced Onstage X stand. It's built like a tank. I've got the extension boom arm option that goes up and holds an isolated Shure mic clip. This is super important for singing keyboard players as it isolates the keyboard thumping of the key bed. It's built like a tank. This thing has literally been through hell and back, and it's worth every penny. It's one of the only stands I've ever been able to depend on, and I've had it for nearly 15 years now in every kind of environment. Nowadays, having it simple and compact is more important than ever. I used to have a huge rack with a ton of sound modules and a bunch of stuff in there and a bunch of keyboards, and it's just not very practical anymore. If you're playing large shows and festivals, maybe one week, and then you're going from there to small clubs and, maybe dinner houses or wine bars and stuff the next week, or sometimes even the same night, it's really important to have a small, compact, but super powerful system. But more importantly, one that keeps that stereo life and breath alive. Because if you collapse this into mono, it loses the whole point of the keyboard in the first place. All the effects, all of those piano samples that were recorded in their stereo positions for playback. If you collapse this into mono, it loses all that life and breath. So super important to keep it in stereo, but more importantly, that you hear it in stereo as well. So I got everything squashed down into this tiny 2-space rack, but I still have a true stereo monitoring system on the floor with full control over my vocals with an EQ. So I'm not constantly bugging, the mix guys on the side of the stage for monitors, and I'm not bugging the guys in front of house. It's a 2-space rack case. There's a ton of these out there made by Gator, Anvil, and others. This one just happens to be very lightweight and very compact. Inside of that is a stereo 15-band EQ. This could be any EQ, but it happens to be lighted, which is great for us because we play a lot of dark stages. And the line mixer is a Samson SM10. This is also very affordable, but one of the few one-space line mixers that has 10 channels, a lot of send options, and some even in stereo. The SM10 line mixer is really one of the best values you can find for its price category. It has 10 stereo channels, the first 2 of which have high-quality microphone preamps, each with its own volume, balance, monitor, and effect sends, and a channel mute button. A huge range of selectable outputs and sends, in addition to 2 independent headphone and monitor outputs. This makes an almost instant solution for in-ear monitors for those people that are working in worship team environments. The back of the unit, we have a full-size internal power supply, no wall wart here, including a power switch, and our outputs include both TRS as well as XLR outputs for our mains and all our sends. And rounding out the connections on the back, we have our combo Neutrik connectors for the first 2 mic preamps, and all the channels have selectable +4 or -10 operation. It's built like a tank and completely unexpected in this price range and perfect for keyboard players. The rack wiring is surprisingly simple. My vocal goes straight into channel 1, and I'm using channel 1's monitor send to feed a direct box. This goes to the front of house like any regular microphone, and once it's level matched, I can make changes to my onstage vocal without affecting the house, because the monitor send is a pre-send and not post. The YC's high Z outputs go directly into channel 3 with the monitor and effects sends turned all the way down. From here, the left and right outputs of the SM10 go directly into my EQ, allowing me complete control over potential feedback problems. My onstage volume is controlled by the mains output, and I even have an in-ear solution by using the headphone output and its selectable source. From the rack, the signal goes down into my stereo-powered speaker system. This is my onstage monitoring. These could be any speakers, but I chose the Mackie Thump series simply because they were lightweight at the time, and I could position them left and right so the horns hit my ears on the left and right sides. The better quality speakers you use, the better quality sound you'll get from the YC, as well as your onstage vocal monitor, so choose wisely. I did end up upgrading the low-frequency drivers to get a better quality sound. And lastly, one of the things that makes the YC 88 and 73 such an absolute joy to work with in a professional environment is the ability to use the dual outputs. In this case, I'm using the left and right XLR outputs to go to front of house. Sending the XLR left and right to the front of house and using the high Z sends from my onstage gives me complete control over my onstage sound. One of the things that makes this possible at all is using pre-wired snakes. And I've got 2 kinds here. I've got output snakes and an input snake. Outputs are super simple. It's just the signal and power go into each one of the wedges on stage. That's the yellow wrapped ones here. And the other one is the input snake, and this is my vocal microphone, left and right from the YC, high Zs, and then power to the YC. So just take your 2 left and right outputs from the 1/4-inch part of the YC, your microphone, and then your power cable. Leave a little length for the microphone and the power cable because they're going to have to go a further distance than your left and right outputs. And then just tape these together about every foot or so. That way, if something breaks, it's easy to take apart and it's not going to cut up your hands like cable ties. All of that basically just goes in my stage box. The most important part about this is it saves you time, but more importantly, simplicity. If you want your gig performance to be as straightforward as possible from gig to gig, no matter the size or the confines or how big or how small, hand-wired snakes are everything when it comes to making your setup and teardown. Not just simpler for you, but more consistent for everybody. One of the biggest considerations for me was I wanted my vocal monitor to be controlled by me and not the mixer guy, that's doing like monitor mixing, or if you're trying to mix yourself from stage or whatever. I wanted it to be right here within arm's reach, instantly controllable by me. The balance control on the SM10's input channels allow you to run your vocal monitor through both speakers. However, you might find it actually works clearer to run them out of only one side, because it means that if I start hearing something ringing around 4K or whatever, I can reach over here and dip it out within arm's reach without missing a beat during performances, and I don't have to rely on anybody on the side being able to figure out what it is, or which channel, or which send, or which monitor, or anything. I can do it within seconds. So there you have it. Stereo front of house sends to the sound guy, stereo on-stage monitoring, and vocal monitoring, all within my own system, controllable by me. Hey, anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out. If this was helpful in any way, please hit the subscription and notification bells. It really does help keep a young channel like this going and growing. Helps me make more videos for you guys like this. Stay safe and be creative. Add something creative to the world because it could really use it right now. Take care. We'll catch you guys in the next video.